Mobile RPGs have become more popular than computer and console RPGs combined because of the convenience of playing on the phone. So in this video, I'm going to list the top 10 RPG games for Android and iOS. Some of these top games will not be a surprise to you. In fact, some have been promised to us for years. But then there are a few that so far have stayed a secret. The first game is Genshin Impact. This will probably not be a big surprise to many of you because the game has a lot of excitement around it. Genshin Impact is an action role-playing game developed by MiHoYo, and the game features an open-world environment with an action-based battle system using elemental magic and character switching. It does use gacha game monetization tactics to get players to obtain new characters, weapons, and other resources, which would normally disqualify a game from being first on one of my top 10 lists, but I kind of feel bad that Genshin Impact did not make it on the list of my top 10 games of this year, which is now ranked number 1 for mobile games. Many of you got onto me for that, so as an apology, I have moved it to the top. The second game is A3 Still Alive. Most of you have probably never even heard of this game, and when you first start playing it, it might not seem like it has anything special. The game starts out on auto, so it essentially starts playing the game for you before you've even had a chance to play the game. And the voice acting is subpar, especially for your guardian goddess, who is dead but yet still talks to you. The graphics are amazing and the skills are dynamic, but what really sets A3 apart from the rest is the way they've integrated their version of Battle Royale. It is so completely unique that you might not even recognize it as Battle Royale. In fact, you will probably fail to advance in sectors the first few times you try. But when you do finally figure it out and get to sit on the throne as the sole victor, it is deeply satisfying. Now, one could argue that the Battle Royale is so good that it overshadows the game itself, and I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Most MMO veterans know that minigames are really important to keeping an MMO from getting boring at the higher levels, so their focus on creating such a dynamic minigame really makes this game stand out. The third game is Black Desert Mobile. This might be a surprise to some of you, but not many of you. Made by Pearl of Bliss, Black Desert Mobile is a sandbox MMORPG featuring castle sieging, trading, crafting, player housing, animal husbandry, fishing, cooking, carpentry, parkour, and even more. It is a port from its PC predecessor, and the story is unchanged. But most importantly, the combat system is also unchanged, making Black Desert Mobile a top choice for mobile MMO. The fourth game goes to Diablo Immortal. This game should probably be closer to the top because it seems like NetEase and Blizzard's cooperation is leading to a really great game. But after almost 3 years, it's still not out, and I'm tired of putting it at the top. I almost didn't even put it on here because even years after NetEase confirmed that all of the game mechanics and content in the game was complete and ready to go, Blizzard delayed it due to the bad publicity when they announced it. But they just released the closed beta last month, so I think it's going to come this year. That being said, if you do not want to wait until it comes out, I've heard that Crusaders of Light, made by NetEase, has a very similar feel. The fifth game is Albion Online. Albion Online is available cross-platform and has cross-progression between PC, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. It is comparable to RuneScape in many ways, including both its style and graphics and the way that skills increase based on use rather than leveling up your character. Two things that make Albion Online amazing is their emphasis on PvP with over 800 different territories that guilds can control, and the economy of the game, which is entirely player-driven with every item player crafted. Another game that has a player-driven economy is Eve Echoes. Eve Echoes is a space-based MMORPG with thousands of solar systems to explore. This game is not for the faint of heart. It is designed for ultra nerds, and I mean that as a compliment. The more dangerous areas in space you explore, the more precious the resources, allowing you to build bigger and better spaceships. But having an amazing spaceship won't do you that much good against a corporation or alliance that could easily disrupt your warp drive and then swarm and kill you. And while it might be possible to build a spaceship on your own, it is also a lot cheaper if you are working together with friends at a corporation where everyone has specialized in their role. These game dynamics really bring people together and create some amazing friendships. I happen to have the #1 tips and tricks video for this game, so if you're interested in playing it, I recommend checking out my guide for it. The seventh game on the list is Ragnarok M. This game is a mobile remake of the PC version, but it features new visuals, autoplay, and obviously a new UI for mobile. Other than that, it is essentially the same game. I personally gravitate away from these kinds of graphics, so I don't have a lot to say about this game, but it is widely popular and loved by its players. The 8th game is V4, which is a huge world with tons of depth and content. It has extensive character customization as well as a player-driven marketplace. The game is cross-platform compatible, so you can play on your phone or PC depending on how you're feeling at that time. It gives you the option to play between 6 playable classes, all of which are offense focused rather than splitting roles in the traditional sense, with some players being a tank and others being damage dealers. I personally don't like this because I love the team dynamics of the traditional style, but I know a lot of players would prefer the style because it allows everyone to focus on just dealing the maximum amount of damage. The 9th game on the list is World of Kings, which is the closest you'll get to World of Warcraft on mobile. It has an incredibly intricate class system, it is full of dungeons and raids, and it has a beautiful open world to explore. It is obviously not as high budget as World of Warcraft, but its ability to copy what is great about WoW is really impressive, and ultimately why it made it to this list. So if you are looking for something like World of Warcraft but on your phone, this is the game you should look for. And then for the last game, I chose Frostborn. Do not be fooled by this game being at the bottom of the list. I believe that Frostborn is the best native mobile game in the world right now. But the reason it is not at the top of this list is because it doesn't really feel like an MMORPG, even though it is one. Now recently the devs made some changes to make it feel more like an MMORPG, so maybe I should put it higher on this list, but those changes literally happened in this last update and they're still having some algorithm issues of people actually matching with each other as often as an MMO player would want to actually match with people, so that's why I've kept it lower on the list. Frostborn is a Norse mythology-based survival game in which you gather resources, build a base, complete objectives, some in PvE context and others in PvP context, and it is an amazing game. The PvP is some of the best in all mobile gaming, and it seems like the devs have huge plans for it. So if you're interested in this game, in addition to having a tips and tricks video for this game, I have an entire other channel dedicated just to this game. So those are the 10 games, but I do have 4 runner-ups for you guys. I did not include RuneScape Mobile because I already had Albion Online on the list, but it is still a great game and should be considered. Warhammer Odyssey did not make the cut because of bad reviews, and then Lineage 2 and Perfect World Mobile just barely got eked out of this list as well. I could definitely see an argument for both of these games to be on this list, but obviously then one of these other games would have to go, so it was a tough call. And there were a lot of other games that were a tough call. Honestly, there are a lot of really good games out there right now, but I hope this gives you a good place to get started. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.